welcome to Hardcast, where we put on Shanhara and travel to Loam to discuss Volume 3 of Exo Manowar. I'm Humphrey Erm, and joining me as usual is Christian Kloss.
Hello.
Alright, Chris. Well, my first thing to note is simply, oh no, not Gafty! Who's Gafty?
Right.
Did you have the same reaction?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Obviously, they explained it pretty quickly who he was, but yeah, I had no connection to this character.
Yeah, I actually double-checked too, just to see how much we saw of him. And we actually did.
Yeah.
It's not like it really wasn't so much of a remember remember Eric's super best friend?
Yeah, of course.
He actually they do refer to him by name several times, and he is important in that sense. He's sort of, he does talk and show some sense of, personality. But
right, but I mean, we also have to assume that this is like the 10th comic we've read. So I don't know how they came out originally, like if this is like the third month of Exo Manowar.
Oh no, whether they come out once a month. It wouldn't be the
third month. It would be like, right. So it would have been like,
Ninth.
damn, it would yeah. So 9 months of comics, and I think the layman comic book reader would not have made that connection. Like when they saw the first splash panel, I guess you would call it. I don't think anyone would have been like, "Oh shit, it's whatever his name is."
Well, I think it's a lot design-wise too. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, again, I think overall, what's called his design, suits him. Okay, he's a Visigoth warrior who's been a slave on the ship. But there's nothing at all, especially with different artists drawing. But it was nothing at all. I heard that was the reason why they gave the Archer that Star T-shirt.
Yeah, just so that you can recognize him.
Yeah, because I have seen some different art, official art with him that has very different styles with his hair, for example, and overall face shape. And in this case, for a character then that's supposed to have this emotional connection, it really, really doesn't have any punch.
Right.
So even it gets it theoretically. Thinks to, oh yeah, that's how it's supposed to be, but it's it doesn't, it felt almost like he was just introduced then, even though he was established before.
Yeah, exactly.
But does that make his use this issue any what's it called? Well, obviously it makes it less powerful, but does it still work then as this long lost friend who then fights Eric because he gets no, it was your fault for everything, if you hadn't done this and if you hadn't done that.
I don't know. I mean, I was when I was reading this volume, I pretty much just, I don't know, I didn't feel too connected to the whole story because it felt, again, very typical. And again, that whole thing with the friend turning not turning bad, but in some sense, attacking our hero, also felt very, just boring in some sense. It was just okay, now this happens. Sure. I did feel a little bit annoyed in that issue that they kind of spoiled that the suit was going to bind to him with the cover. That was literally on the cover of issue 10 was him in that suit. And so it was kind of a little bit oh, okay, so I guess he's going to get the suit. And yeah, otherwise I just I don't know. It's weird because it's just such this whole comic was very, I had a very apathetic feeling to it.
Oh, really? Okay.
So, well, I mean, again, Exo Manowar, it's interesting, but the first two volumes that I read they were really interesting, but this one is just getting more into this, let's fight a war, I don't know, it just felt very boring in some sense. Very traditional, nothing exciting, nothing new.
I'm not sure about. I mean, maybe like the first two issues, I'd agree, is very traditional. I mean, alien invasions are a dime a dozen in what's called superhero comics.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember like the Justice League cartoon. That was like their go-to for every like big season finale.
yeah, yeah.
So, and again, it makes sense. These foreign entities coming. It is exciting, especially in this like young universe in that sense, because what's supposed to be as close to our world as possible now has its first big how should you describe it? Well, its
Event.
first, yeah, well, yeah, exactly, its first big clash in a sense. And I have to say, actually, 'cause I didn't actually write this down as a question, but now that I'm describing it, it does make up a point. Is it not a bit? I'm not sure. Is not this entire invasion fleet a bit lackluster? I mean, yes, we
Oh
don't
yeah,
get the
definitely.
main. We didn't get like the main brute of it because Gafty then went up and sacrificed himself.
Right,
But like, okay, we send in like this kind of, which I gotta say was a pretty nice elite force. I'm guessing, with these like special exosuits.
right,
I
right.
think that was actually some really nice like action, the way it was like drawn and done.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is the big invasion that they are actually revealing themselves to people now, and overall, I mean, yes, we're seeing it from Eric's point of view, most of it, so I get that. But like, this doesn't feel like a big deal for like humanity.
No, I mean, I don't think the only time I ever saw, I guess, like a human was when that guy's car got crashed.
Yeah, and that wasn't that a I don't know, I wouldn't say a weird thing, but considering how like they were kind of isolated throughout most of the fight, it feels almost like with one of
Right, and then
those. Yeah, no, but it feels almost kind of like almost feels like Batman v Superman. No, but in the sense of like let's just get rid of all the people around so they can just have their fights.
yeah,
But
but I
then they make
mean,
such a
I don't know,
point with that guy though. I mean, he has an entire
yeah,
panel close up of himself. And
exactly.
and I don't know, and then the Crush is there, and I'm assuming he should be dead. We don't see anything else about him.
No,
But I'm just like,
I mean, the only thing I would say is that maybe it has something to do with that they'll come back to it in a later issue or something like that.
oh, he'll
That
be
this
like the
guy was
martyr.
something important. Yeah, that then they'll kind of kind of like with Batman versus Superman or Man of Steel at least, that they'll kind of turn on Eric. That like
Mm.
humanity will turn. Well, they're already they don't like Eric anyway, so
Well,
I don't see the point of
yeah.
this
Well, there's not
that
much
sequence.
to. Yeah, but there's not much to. I mean, no one really knows him. I mean, again, I'm not saying that there's not enough
Exactly.
reasons to hate him. Yeah, I believe he has killed a few humans, and not just those trying to get him. But like all these, like those what's called Italian soldiers in the beginning when he
Yeah.
lands, and I believe some other
Yeah.
people in the crossfires at some point. So, but yeah, it's yes, feels like because he gets a whole panel for himself, and then really there's like
Exactly.
nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, who's the guy? Who's the guy? All right. So, but one little thing, because I got it open right here and just like tapping through in the PDF. But
Yeah.
thoughts on Shanhara when Gafty is wearing it? Like, you notice like how it's like a bit of a different design.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you think of
I mean,
that? I think it's kind of cool that it kind of becomes a bit unique to, I'm guessing, both the wearer's body, but also, I guess, their
like
state
his
of
emotions
mind.
or his personality. Yeah. 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 Exactly. I mean, that's all I really thought about it. I was like, yeah, that's cool. It's nice that it. I mean, it shows us that it's organic in that sense. It is a its own entity. It is smart in some sense. It has thoughts, and yeah, I like that it changes it. One the only questions I had was like, so he's worthy of wearing it, because
Mm.
so are all Visigoths? worthy of wearing it? Are all warriors like, or is it just the vine that aren't worthy of wearing it? Because in some later
Mm.
issue, they mentioned that not ever like not a single vine has ever worn it or something like that. Um, so maybe all humans can wear it. I don't know, but maybe that will be revealed later. But
That's the thing. It
yeah, so
will. I don't want to like spoil in that sense, but there's like a big arc that's gonna come up in a few volumes. That's like it brings up those points exactly. And I'm rereading it
okay.
now. I'm
Hmm.
actually kind of like, right, that was the thing about the vine, not being able to wear it. And I'm actually looking forward to getting to those volumes again. Because it's another one of
Okay.
those things where I'm a little bit, was this planned? Or, would some of these
Right.
things be retcons? Or yes, I mean, again, like I said, I don't get like too pissy if they come up with a really good idea later. And, oh, well, actually, in this
Yeah.
panel, in, volume two, they clearly show that the Shanhara can do this or can't do this.
Mm. Mm.
So little things like that, it's kind of like, so, but it is curious though, because if they do manage to make everything work, that's again one of the things I love about these shared superhero universes. Because like,
Yeah.
it's one thing to you make a good story, but if you can make a good story that actually works with all these other writers and all these other like plans and characters, that's the impressive part.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm kind of, I don't know. I just feel that when Eric put on the suit for the first time, um, he he didn't quite know what to do with it. Like he's still learning the suit, and even in a later time, I think someone mentions that he's become better with the suit, like when he's fighting on the other world.
Mm.
So I'm kind of wondering, like, how the hell did this new guy, what's his name,
Gafty.
Gafty, right? Like, how the hell did Gafty know how to do all this stuff? Like, how did he know how to fly? How did he know how to shoot? How did he know how to, like, I guess, tractor beam the starships together, or whatever what happened there? Like, I'm just kind of wondering, like I don't know. I don't know what the whole idea is of that.
Yeah, I think he's just taking over like the controls of all the ships. Because then he makes them, as they point out, like cannons are offline, the ship is losing power, then engines are drained. Oh, he probably
Right.
absorbed all the energy, and then he had released them, sacrificing himself.
Right. Yeah, but still, I
So,
mean, I think I feel that's not a beginner move. You know, I mean, we've
mm,
never seen Eric drain any energy from anything. I mean, again, maybe he just didn't have the opportunity or whatever. But still, I think that's kind of like, I don't know. For me,
too
I
much of
was
a
looking at
new
this going like,
power.
okay, this is, yeah, it's like a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing where he gets the suit and then he has full control over it, knows everything about it, but dies in the process. You know, it feels very, I don't know, cheap.
I normally agree. Well, I'll agree either way. It's cheap, regardless of context.
Yeah.
But and I think this is kind of like their big, well, like this Manowar suit's big like saving grace. The fact it's sentient. Like, I mean, had this been like
Yeah, but
Marvel with
still.
like if it was someone else getting Iron Man suit, even with all this
Yeah.
like, I'm assuming it's a lot of things are automated on it, so you could probably like keep the person safe in there. But
Yeah.
it would feel weird if, I don't know, let's say like Hawkeye, even if he's like knows Tony and stuff like that, if he takes on a suit, and even if something like this was established earlier, this kind of like power, it would still kind of feel like, yeah, but would Hawkeye really know how to do all this, even with like it being automated? It just doesn't feel like he should, because
Exactly.
if he can do it, then what good is Tony Stark?
Right, right.
So in this sense, it has a similar feeling, I feel, especially with someone who, as we said before, had like no, we could not bother remember him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, like, no, I shall sacrifice myself. Sure, thanks, stranger.
Right, exactly.
I mean, again, that's
Well,
for
that's how it
us.
feels for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
just I mean, it's just if he had some things. I'm just going back to that point, but it's just I'm looking at him now when he's sacrificing himself and like, man, I'm feeling like nothing.
Right, of
like
course, because we don't know him.
like even
And all we know him as is a villain.
yeah, but like even like Peter's friend from Harbinger, like yo, he had a lot more going for him. You know,
Right.
before like he like died. So like again, whether you liked him that much or not is it doesn't matter. Like you were aware of him, and
Right.
design wise, he was at least recognizable enough, even though we haven't really seen him much with switched artists. But yeah. So just a little like a quick little thing here. Were you surprised that Planet Death wasn't Earth, or was that not
I
really?
didn't I didn't really notice it.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious because
I
it's
mean,
kind of prelude to Planet Death. Like so they're on Earth and nothing's happening. Like,
well, I mean, I did feel that a little bit was a little bit annoying that this invasion was talked about since the first issue, basically, or not maybe the first issue, but like second or third issue. It's been talking about this huge invasion that we're going to take over Earth, and then they send like two ships that get destroyed in one panel, and that's it.
mm,
You know what I mean? And I just felt it was so anticlimactic that I was like, oh, okay then. So what's happening now? And I mean, yeah, I think it is interesting that he kind of brought the battle to them,
well,
but still, it was
it suits
just
his character, and that's one of the things I like too.
yeah.
Because I think that's like
Like
one of
honestly, the invasion could have been bigger.
oh yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, sure, have it happen in two issues, but because it was talked about for so long and just it was constantly pushed, and then it comes and it's just so yeah, as I said, anticlimactic, and it's just like okay, great, cool.
Yeah, no like reaction
It's
to
yeah,
like of the
yeah.
humans and that. Yeah, I mean we get some when it's happening. So again, like the guy in the
Yeah.
car, but yeah, it's just yeah, very disappointing
But
first
this,
encounter. That the humans are aware
that
of.
that thing with the car was literally the only human we see, like other human that we see in these two panels or in
Mm.
these two issues.
Well, yeah, and there
Like
are a
even the
couple
bus was
more.
empty.
Yeah, no, but there are a
No, but
couple
I mean,
more.
again, yeah, okay, true. I mean, now I'm looking
So
through
there's
it, and
like the
there are some
God
people,
help
but the thing
us.
is, there, yeah, but where
So on page 52. So on the like panel there.
52?
Yeah, it's like after he blows up Gaffney.
Oh, that. Oh God, yeah, but
Yeah, I'm not trying to like
that doesn't
nitpick,
count.
but because again, it does feel empty
Yeah,
anyways. But that's what I
yeah. I
mean.
mean,
Like
that's the thing. People
there's
are there. Yeah, that's the thing. But people are there, but they're always on the side. I mean, I'm looking at the bus being like when he throws one of
mm,
the exo soldiers into the bus. There are people running off the side, but that's it. You don't even notice. I mean, I had to actually like focus on that panel and be like, oh wait, there are people there. You know, it doesn't feel like this is some sort of huge invasion where there's
well,
casualties. I mean,
Manhattan's
yeah,
usually
great.
this empty, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
I mean, it's just like a quaint little town.
Yeah, everyone's at home or at work. You know, no one's walking around doing stuff. But yeah, so we
So
can agree that the invasion was a disappointment.
yeah. But then I find the like one man invasion of Loam quite interesting in that sense. Like I actually thought of another character that actually suits or was to say that you can compare Arik to, and that would be Namor.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean,
Okay.
that's what he's invaded like the surface world several times, and like
Yeah.
this kind of feels like something he would do in that sense. Like you'd have this big fight underwater. Some superheroes would try to get at him for something he did before, and then like, okay, that's it. I'm taking the surface world.
Yeah, but that's just a warrior's kind of
Yeah,
creed in that sense.
yeah, but I don't feel that's
I mean,
super common though. Like in a superhero character, in that way, like there's more aggressiveness. Like I mean, he's taking
yeah,
it as
maybe not.
a
Yeah, maybe not a superhero, but these people are warriors. I mean, even Namor is a barbarian in some sense, you know. And the same thing with Eric here. He is the literal definition of a barbarian, and they were, known for that. If you anger them, they will defeat you first, and then they'll come after you because you disrespected them by invading them. So they're gonna be like, oh yeah, here's it twice back, and so I think it's natural. It would be normal reaction for Eric and Namor as well, because those are what their characters are based on. Doesn't have to be that they're superheroes. It doesn't have to be a part of it, because there are different types of superheroes, just the same way that there are different types of humans or warriors. So I don't think that can be a point that you say like because he's a superhero he shouldn't be so aggressive.
Well, no, I like it. I'm just saying that I don't feel it's as common. Like, I'm just thinking, like, if you were to take, like, a Marvel or DC character, who, besides, I guess, one of the more, like, rougher anti-hero kind of characters, would, after this invasion, decide, you know what, let's go to the Skrulls' home planet and just, slaughter it. All right, let's go to Thanagar and, just slaughter up all the Thanagarians.
Yeah, but in those, well, to be honest, they kind of did that with in the animated movie with Darkseid.
Oh, you mean the what's called the one with Supergirl, or?
Yeah, right. But then again, they did go there to save her.
Yeah.
But the idea is that
and he has monster screws.
The idea is that, no, but I feel in all the invasions that I've seen so far, like I haven't seen, I guess I'm pretty sure I haven't seen all of them, but in the ones that I've seen so far, when they win, like when they beat when they win at the end of the story, they're not, they don't win while they're on their feet, if you know what I mean. In the sense that they're not in a position where they could start an invasion.
That's true.
And I feel that a lot of people, I mean, especially, like let's take the Marvel Cinematic Universe. When the Skrulls attacked, I mean, I'm assuming that let's just say that they were the Skrulls.
Well, the Chitauri, but yeah.
The Chitauri, yeah. So when they attacked, they were so devastated by that attack that they won, but they barely won. And there's that whole with Iron Man, basically attacking them with a nuke. That was their last ditch effort, and it worked. And then they couldn't do anything else about it. The problem what they're having now is that they don't have a way to bring the invasion to them. I'm pretty sure that a lot of them, I mean, especially Captain America, who knows, I mean, he even did it in the movie as well, in his Captain America movie, he brought the fight to Hydra. I mean, because that's what you do.
Well, that's part of like history in our case. But but you're right. Yeah, you do a whole montage where they're actively going after them.
Right, and I think that there is if the comic book, or if the movie was, or if in that movie universe they would have the technology to force space travel, I'm pretty sure that would have been up for discussion in like the next Avengers movie or whatever, that they sit down.
Should we invade them? Like, is that right?
Should we invade them? Right. Should we be fighting? Like, should we bring the fight to them so that they don't attack us? Because they're all living with fear. I mean, we saw it in Iron Man 3, how, he can't even function because he's so just so messed up from that experience that he had. And I'm pretty sure that Iron Man would be one of the guys who'd be like, okay, no, we're taking the invasion to him because I want to sleep at night and I want to know that they're dealt with, because I can't live with this fear anymore. And I'm pretty sure a lot of other people would be like, okay, no, we're taking this fight to them. I mean, technically, that's exactly what happened with in the real world with 9/11. The towers came down and America attacked.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the whole analogy for that. I mean, everyone's always remember New York. That's from New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, and still people love Loki so much, even though he's obviously then the what's called Marvel equivalent of Bin Laden.
Yeah, but he's attractive and doesn't have a beard.
Is that it? If he's shaved, people will be like, oh,
Yeah.
he's such a misguided bad
No,
boy.
no, 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 no. He has to be white too. So
Oh, yeah, true.
yeah. So
Yeah, I got,
sucks.
got, got a little, like, hard cats got real for a moment.
Yeah, just for a moment though. We'll go back to comic books in a second.
All right. Well,
But
yeah,
yeah, let's continue
exactly.
with the third issue,
Exactly.
the eleventh issue, issue 11.
Yes. No, but I like
I love how
to.
it was just like the title literally like Planet Death starts here. Like, haha, we tricked you.
Exactly. Well, yeah, well, like, yeah, true. That was the whole point when I was bringing up that question. Yeah.
Right.
So, but
Matt didn't
then
even notice
speaking
that. I was
of,
just
but since we're then discussing issue 11 there, thought on the
mm.
lore, like the myth and religious aspect of what's called Shanhara.
The lore is fine. I mean, it's a very typical creation story kind of thing, and I like the art design as well. It felt very, it felt nice. It felt like this is an actual thing. It's good. You can understand their beliefs. I didn't quite understand who that guy was.
Oh, the guy who wore it the first time, then, according to them.
Right, yeah, because I thought that he was a Vine,
I
like he
think
was a
so.
member of the
I
Vine.
think so. Looking at his
But then
design.
yeah, but then the question was because someone said that no Vine has ever worn it,
Yeah,
but
but
he wore it.
that's the whole thing, as those council members mention, that what's called this is just a story. They said, they've analyzed the suit and the plant it came from, and like, yeah, we don't know where it
Yeah,
came from, and what do we do about things we don't know? We make up stories.
right.
So the idea here is
But
that,
they do know that the suit came from the tree,
yeah, yeah, well,
but
yeah, yeah,
they just don't know where the tree comes from.
exactly. So that's what I mean. I think he just doesn't exist. This, on the page to 60, that guy. Like, no, we probably never existed.
Yeah,
It's just, again,
right,
like, well, again, don't want to get controversial here for all our listeners,
right.
but
Both of them.
but that's how a lot of
We
like
love
religious
we
aspects
love you too.
are.
Yeah, it is true. I mean,
I mean, it's the whole like life of Brian concept. When they're all following him. Like, I mean,
right.
we know as like omnipotent observers of the film. Having
Right.
known Brian and knowing what he's trying to do when he like drops his shoe and like tries to get it back, but then runs off instead. And then the whole
Only the
discussion.
Messiah would say that he's not the Messiah.
Exactly. But that whole thing with the shoe, like, oh, we should all take off our shoes. No, we should take all the shoes and put them in a pile. I
Right.
mean, I'm thinking is kind of like the idea here, like this tree with this armor comes out, and then after eons, as they mentioned there, this was eons ago.
Right.
It just becomes this like prophecy. And as they pointed out, the council, it worked well for a long time because it gave them this like drive to take over the universe. So like, so they were like, even
Right.
though,
To be like the great warrior that would be then worthy of the suit.
yeah, but also in the sense of it gave them like this purpose of taking over. So that's why like the council
Right.
members, who obviously seem to be very skeptical and not true believers,
Mm-hmm.
that's why they kind of like, yeah, what, yeah, of course, hail Shanhara.
Right.
Because like, yeah, whatever, as long as they do what they, we want them to do.
Like American politics today.
Ooh.
You gotta believe in God.
So
All right. Well, we said we weren't gonna get political on this thing right now. So let's continue.
yeah, but then I want to bring up.
Yeah. No. But yeah. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no. Okay, here's the question: are Divine yes too stupid? No, but I'm just feeling. I mean, I overall like it, but we got like the priest there, and he's what's called sermoning, or whatever you call. And
Sermoning.
yeah, if you have a sermon, you're sermoning it, not preaching
Yeah.
it, I
Okay.
guess, preaching a sermon. But
Right.
like, and because I like the idea of them being these religious zealots. That's I mean, it's not unique to any science fiction thing, but I like it here. But there's just something about he lands and I have brought your armor home, And yes, this two
Right.
panel exchange is great. The new age has dawned. Rejoice! Shanhara has brought us a new warrior. Path, path. Headshot.
Pump, pump. Right. Right.
And the idea that they're kind of like still Shanhara. Like, ah.
Well, again, these aren't. Well, that's the thing about these guys. These aren't the normal Vine. These are the priests.
Were they all priests? I thought they were.
Yeah. No, they're all priests because they're all hanging out at that holy site with the tree, and they all have those robes on. So I'm assuming that they were all some sort of priest like.
I guess that makes it a little
creatures.
bit better than. I just thought they were.
Because they. No. I think they're all priests who believe in the. I probably have the same beliefs as the guy that we meet, the one who gets spared. They all just believe in this God, and anything he does is right. So if he decides to kill them, then that was his will. That's what needs to be done. And yeah, so I think that's that point. I mean, I don't think they're stupid. I mean, they can't be stupid if they have that whole, their whole colonies and.
No, I don't mean like stupid in that sense.
I mean, yeah.
But it just feels like such a the guys. Just attack Shanhara. I mean, he doesn't like you.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I don't want to get political on this thing, but would it be any different in the real world? I mean, there are some people who do some really stupid things in the name of the gods that they believe in.
Yeah, but again, it's it's all this like faith stuff. But here we have, to me, this is more like Jesus' second coming. Like, oh, thank you,
Right.
God, Jesus is here, and then just bam. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty. I mean, I know some pretty hardcore Christians who I think would do anything.
So even with
Jesus
him killing the people beside them, they would still be like, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. I know what you're doing is right." Regardless of.
Yes, because I mean, again, there's a lot of people who put all the pain and suffering and stuff like that into God's hands and say like, well, it's it's His decision what happens. And I mean that's one of the things, like God giveth and God taketh away. And that mentality is exactly what they're showing here. That Shanhara, or whatever the name is has given them a lot of good, but now he's decided to take stuff away from us, and that's his will, and we have to believe in that, and we have to support it because that's what is right. And I don't think it's too far off of what real religious groups would feel.
Well, all right then. That actually got more interesting than I thought. I thought that would be similar to the Gafty question I had, in terms of both of us. Yeah, who the hell's Gafty? So this was a nice discussion.
Right.
I guess you're right. I mean, it gets tricky here with the, this whole, like, speculative fiction thing.
Right.
I mean, this is like... I mean, in a sense, it's kind of a bit of a cargo cult. You know that term?
No.
It's a term that often happens like to a lot of like way off tribes and stuff. If they find something like if they find some kind of like object from our world that to them is foreign, and that they then worship. Mm-hmm. Like I think on the actual Wikipedia article, they showcase this tribe that has this like old crashed plane from World War II that they've like set up almost like a cross, and like they worship because it came from the sky, and like, oh, what is this? So in that sense, is because it's, I mean, sure, it's sentient, so it obviously is, so it's not like it's just like an Iron Man suit, which could have been a cool thing too.
No.
Actually, that would be a good, cool Marvel story. Like one of his suits goes rogue. I mean, that's happened before, but like on a planet, and then become like a leader of them. You can contact me, Marvel, if you want to discuss this further. And anyways.
Yeah.
All right, but then let's see here. Well, here's another little thing then. Actually, yeah, I'm going to bring up this too, since we're on the art here anyway. It's like on these pages. I am very disappointed with the panel layouts in like the issues after once he gets on the Loam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's something that you noticed, but have you noticed like how huge the borders are, like of the page? like how compact.
Now that you mentioned it, I mean, I didn't notice it while I was reading it because I guess I don't really notice it. Um, and I think they did it well because they had because in issue 10 it was still okay, and then at the beginning of issue 11 they changed the complete border to tell the lore, and then they went to the really thick lines, and it's just like so much white space everywhere. Um, I don't know if that
Was a new artist.
maybe it was meant. Oh, it is a new artist. Okay, because I'm just thinking maybe it's a style, like a specific style that they want to make just to make the reader feel uncomfortable or foreign in this new land that they're in. But I guess if it's a new artist, it might be.
Yeah, the first artist for the
But
first
yeah,
two issues is Trevor Hairsine or Hairsine,
okay,
and then the
okay,
next one is Carrie Nord. I mean, the art itself I find
okay.
is fine, but it's just
Yeah,
it's almost like I don't know, like the panel layout. I'm not one of those who wants it always to be overly complicated because it can be hard to read.
yeah, yeah. Of
But
course.
like for
But yeah,
example, page
yeah,
65, for example,
yeah.
something that I think could have worked really well there would be either having like the first panel actually be like the whole page with the other panels on top,
Right, right.
or
Yeah.
the what's called last panel, because that could also work well. Yes, this like all the
Mm-hmm.
smoke coming up in the background.
Right.
Like and then with the other panels as they are, because like there's barely any that I mean. Then we have the splash page, which I think looks really nice, especially like the effect
It does.
on
Yeah.
his hand. But like all
Yeah.
these, like they never bleed into the page almost. They're not even
Mm-hmm.
consistent. I'm
Can,
noticing.
I know. Can I nitpick on something? I know it's totally stupid, but on page 67, in the third panel,
Oh yeah.
they actually draw outside the lines of the panel.
Oh yeah, but that's quite a few times it happens.
Oh, it does.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Page
I mean, I guess it's
65
just a
on
style.
the right utmost panel, you can see it.
Right. Okay. So it is a style then.
It happens
So
quite
it's
a
just
lot.
so.
Like I
It
personally
is.
like it a bit because it makes it feel less sterile or something. Like it
Yeah.
feels very like, oh okay, it's not like a perfect cut. It's like feels real.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's quite a lot of them. 69 has them as well. So yeah,
Yeah. I'm
it's
looking through it now. Yeah. No, but it's just crazy because now that you mentioned it, the panel layout does look very. I don't know. I don't know if you could say amateur, but
I'd say basic.
it is very boring. Yeah, it's basic. Yeah, basic. It's
I
very
mean, like
basic.
take like page 73. Okay, he's fighting, and it's like just four panels, which again, and the amount of panels I think is fine. But just
Yeah.
considering how the fights were in the first two issues, where it really felt like, oh, interesting, like how they're fighting, and the panels really seem to
Yeah.
support the action, like the compositions. And here's like, okay, here's some, rectangular, compositions, and let's just try to fit them into what we have. And the fact that they,
But
don't.
honestly, we do.
Hmm?
Yeah, we do have to mention that we don't know what went on in the background of this issue.
Behind the scenes.
I mean, yeah, behind the scenes. I mean, there might have been like budget cuts. It might have been a new artist or a new writer or a new editor or whatever. I mean,
well, yeah, it
we
could
we
be
don't
like a
we don't
deadline
know.
thing, so they simplified like the layouts. Because, like I said, the art I think is
Right. Maybe
fine.
they Yeah, maybe they were under time pressure. They're just like, no, let's just do it quick. We have to get this out. I don't know. The I think the story is still fine. I mean, yes, the art suffered a little bit. The panel layout did a little bit at least. Um, but I don't think it suffered too much. Like it didn't suffer so much that I would, now put it away. Like, oh God, what happened here? And then, I mean,
Oh,
to be honest, I didn't even notice it. So,
yeah, no, of course.
that
No, no.
says a lot
Like I
about
said,
it.
it's not a deal breaker. It's just something I noticed. I don't think I thought about it the first time I read it. But now, since I'm, rereading and then like not reading more casually, but since I know what's going on, I'm not like, I'm more observant about other things. And I guess notice because it's such a stark contrast in terms of style.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So that's why I'm just kind of curious about like, huh. So, but either way, it's just something I wanted to bring up because I like to discuss things like that as well, and not just plot points.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Again, we're not just trying to like recap everything. So the only other point I had written down out of like well, not curiosity, but yes, as a point. What are your thoughts on the other aliens that they mention? So they have like all those
Other aliens? Oh, the others that
yeah,
are
the
on the
slaves.
planet with them. Yeah, it just shows that they're that they've been around, around the universe. They've been
They get around.
capturing. They get around, yeah, but it's kind of interesting because that means that I like at the end when they're kind of just fighting, like in the last a couple of panels or the last issue where they're just fighting all these different places and just fighting these huge wars with all these different characters. I mean, really interesting characters. I like those flying beasts. I wouldn't even know how to categorize them. And those rock creatures. I mean, they're really cool, different designs, and it's really interesting.
That's
So
that's
yeah,
interesting because I was
yeah.
just gonna point out because that's the reason I wrote it down. I felt they were too similar to each other.
You mean the aliens were too similar to each other?
Yeah, like I felt they were too
Well,
like shape wise. If you look like at page 122, when they're like first introduced with the priest describing them,
yeah.
I just feel like overall shape
Oh,
wise,
yeah,
like especially there because they're
yeah,
all hunched. But you see what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like, again, I'm not saying like each one has to be like radically different. They could all have been like humanoids of some sort or whatever. They don't have to
yeah.
be like starfish or anything. But I'm just kind of okay. A big hulking kind of rock creature, a big hulking rodent sloth creature, a big hulking flying Cthulhu-ish creature.
Right.
You know what I mean? Again, it's not like a big deal, and I don't want to like harp on Carrie Nord. They're a better
Right.
artist than I am, so I'm not gonna say I could have done it better. But just something I noticed when I was looking there, like at the shape language. Like I can tell them apart, because mostly due to like the texture, you could say.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm like looking at it, I'm kind of
I
like,
mean, I
oh,
get,
they
yeah.
kind of feel similar. Like especially if you take like page 131, the middle and last panel.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? You have like the rock guy
Yeah, true.
punching,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
Yeah,
overall,
yeah.
like if it is only the texture, okay, he's rocky and the other guy's furry, but
Right.
overall, like the
But
shape,
they
it's
do look
very
very similar. Yeah. I think I didn't even notice when I was reading it that they were different characters.
yeah. Well, in
I
this
just saw
case, it doesn't
war
matter
and
so
fighting
much.
and
They're just one of
yeah,
many.
yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, just something I don't know.
Yeah.
I just noticed it a lot.
I gotta say though, one last thing before we wrap up is that I really hope that uh, he doesn't bang that look-alike of his wife because I'm pretty sure that is his daughter
Well, dude, it's been
or something.
1,600 years, maybe even more. Within them, I'd say it's fine.
Yeah, it's long enough difference between the two.
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where it's
Yeah,
like unsure.
yeah,
I guess it kind of happens in our world a bit. If you, I guess kind of like the Icelandic thing. Everyone's sort of related to each other. That's why they have the app.
well, yeah,
But I'm guessing that kind of thing. That well, okay, we're like way, way, way back. We have a connection. But you're
yeah.
horny. I'm horny. Let's.
Yeah.
All right. But then one last little thing then to just since we're kind of at the end here too.
Hmm.
What are you thinking about the later? Well, like what's going to happen next? He's taken all these former slaves that haven't been on Earth ever, and now he's taking them back to Earth. How do you think that's gonna go home? Like or like how that's gonna go in what's called when he returns?
I don't know. I think they're going to see some like Captain America esque stuff where they kind of have to get used to the world as it is. It's going to be maybe a little bit of a refugee kind of thing. Maybe I don't know.
So,
I mean,
okay.
we'll probably see in the next issue.
Well, yeah, of course. Home next, homecoming.
Okay. Spider-Man Homecoming next.
Yeah. But I have to, but that's, since that's like the last page and stuff. So how did you feel then overall with this volume? Because I remember you liked a lot like the second volume, with Ninjak.
Right.
So how did this hold
Again,
up?
this is kind of, yeah, I don't know. It kind of regressed a little bit to a point where it's just very typical again. I mean, I'm hoping that the next volume is going to be more interesting with the characters coming back to Earth in that sense. It might be a little bit more. I mean, again, I'm the guy who likes the Dragon Ball filler episodes.
Mm.
Where there's actually story, where they're doing something other than fighting. And it's the same here. I mean, while the fighting is interesting, it's interesting to have people just like beating up each other and just there being the world at stake and stuff like that. I like it when the characters get to be the characters and just kind of slice of life type, just these extraordinary characters in normal circumstances. That's why I also love the first parts of Thor, where he's just sitting in New Mexico.
Yeah, that's fun. So, all right then. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I personally like this a lot too, because I do like sort of like the science fiction stuff, especially like with the action element. And as I mentioned, I kind of like the idea of, oh shit, our hero just, you know, personally invaded another planet. I mean, with good reason.
Right. Yeah, of course.
But it's something that I brought up since the beginning regarding, Valiant overall. They are a bit more rough, so to speak. Like, none of the heroes I think are, except maybe Faith, is like, oh, you can't kill it all. So, and that's, I think, something like very clear here. Like, when your main character then, all right, I'm invading. I mean, they kind of like, I mean, the danger was gone. The danger was gone. They like, Gaffney sacrificed himself, the invasion fleet's gone. Normally, you just wait, for them to attack again. And like, then we'll be ready next time.
Right.
But like, no, fuck that.
Well, again,
we're gonna kill him.
Well, again, because the situation was different, Eric was actually healthy enough to attack.
Oh yeah, and he had a ship
that's a really, really big point. Yeah, he had a ship, he had everything ready to go and attack. And I believe that a lot of other heroes, especially Marvel heroes and stuff like that, would do the same thing if they had the opportunity. Because why wait for them to have another invasion where more people would get sacrificed or get killed or whatever, if they could just bring the fight to them and then just destroy the source. And I believe that is a completely logical reasoning that Eric did here.
All right, and I'd also like to, because I'm looking at like the covers at the end of the volume, and that's when I say like, if I did hurt Carrie Nord's feelings regarding their art, I just have to say these panels here, these covers on page 147 and 148, beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, yes, the overall like the dynamics of that whole punch like that Eric gets there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and like the very arts and craft, well, not arts and craftsy, but these more like traditional media look. I'm not sure if it's like faked through digital means or if they actually are like drawn. Right. But either way, it looks beautiful, and what I really like about the one on the next page with this like close up of the Vine and the Eric. Mm-hmm. So I love the. It's just such a simple thing there with how they've dragged like these like white highlights across like the glass in front of Eric's face.
Yeah.
It's like, because otherwise it's like totally see-through. So how do we make it clear that it's like there's glass in front of him? And it's like, oh, I just like the look of it. It feels so rough and real. So so in case I hurt your feelings, I guess when I say that. Like art-wise, it's amazing. It was just the panel layouts I felt were kind of lacking.
Right.
But all right, should we? Let's go. I mean, we've come to the end there. We're talking about covers, so.
Yep.
Do you have a cover you wanted to discuss, or?
Not really. I mean, again, I was just a little bit disappointed with that one cover that spoiled the reveal of him taking over the suit, but
that's true. But that's a lot of. But a lot of them are like that. I feel like any superhero. If they don't spoil, they don't actually happen.
True.
But
All right.
what's it called? But yeah, that's gonna be fun. And next what's it called next time we're gonna have a really interesting one. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be like a triple extravaganza, because next time we're gonna have our first event comic.
Ooh, awesome.
So next week we're gonna have Harbinger Wars.
Nice.
We'll figure out how we do it, because we're gonna
Okay.
have Harbinger Wars, and then we're gonna have like a volume 3 of both Bloodshot and Harbinger.
Okay.
So we'll see
Sounds
we'll
good.
see how we do it by then, listeners. But yeah, that was the 10th episode of Hardcast, detailing volume 3 of Exo Manowar. For more content from me and Chris, check out robotkeith.com and follow us on Twitter at Humphrey_Aram and at Christian D. Claus. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or listen to us directly on robotkeith.com/podcast. Catch us later for our next episode discussing Harbinger Wars. As usual, Chris, thanks for being on the show.